Hi, I'm Jason, amateur radio call sign Kilo Oscar 4 November Delta Papa, or KO4 NDP. Let's talk about ham radio and use one to get on the air. I know what you're thinking, what's the point of ham radio when I have one of these? Well, as it turns out, this phone has multiple radios built right into it. It's got the cell phone part of the phone, of course, but also Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. I bet yours even has NFC or RFID, maybe even a couple more. All radios. Amateur radio is a generalized version of these services. The FCC grants licensed amateur operators several spans of frequencies called ham bands to play around with, and we use them to communicate with friends, family, and even huge contests where hams all over the world compete for prizes. Unlike our phones and other connected devices, ham radio's power is that it's not connected to a phone network or the internet. Think about emergencies such as the recent hurricane disasters where power and cell towers were knocked out for many miles. Communication that can cover some long distance without needing a phone service, one that might not even exist anymore, is vital for rescue, recovery, and all kinds of coordination. Myself, I like making ham radio be portable. I always take a radio with me camping, hiking, and especially on road trips. While this kit, what you see here, is easy enough to pack and carry to a park and set up on a picnic table, I usually find myself carrying something a little more like this right here. This actually has everything you see on the table, just in a smaller form factor, and there's some other trade-offs. This radio puts out about 100 watts. This one only about 5. This one covers a dozen ham radio bands. This one only a handful, but this one's quite large. This one zips up, and I can throw it in a backpack and literally take it just about anywhere. There's an activity that's very popular with hams called Parks on the Air, where you get to take gear like this to any of the thousands of designated parks all over the world and contact other hams who are also playing the game. And it is indeed a game. There are points, achievements, certificates, and the biggest perk of all, credit on a leaderboard. I make contacts with other hams almost entirely in CW, or as you may know it, Morse code. It's kind of impressive how many hams have actually learned CW just to use it on the radio, myself included. But enough about me. Let's get it on the air. For this demonstration, we're going to use this Yaesu FT891, a radio that's very popular with hams because it's affordable. It's rather small. Ham radios actually get quite large. And it covers all of the HF or high frequency ham radio bands. You can talk over voice, of course, with the mic. You can plug CW key into it and tap out some Morse code. You can even connect it to a computer and do some digital modes like WinLink, which is sending email over the radio. A radio is nothing without an antenna. You can buy antennas, but antennas are actually where a lot of hams will tend to get creative and build their own. And they don't have to be complicated or expensive. I actually built this one. It's made with a cheap camera tripod, some PVC and nuts and bolts from Home Depot, some enameled wire for this coil from Amazon, and a telescopic antenna whip. This coil is actually matched with this whip. Together, they actually get us on the band that we're going to be using today. Without the coil, this whip is almost useless for ham radio. It's a little too long for the 6-meter ham radio band and a little too short for the 10-meter ham radio band. And there's nothing in between, so it's pretty useless for us. So we need this coil to actually get us onto the band which we want to use, which is going to be 20 meters today. We could swap this out with this larger coil and get all the way down to 40 meters. We could also hook it up to this big mamma jamma and get all the way down to 80 meters. Moving down the line, we have we can hook in between the radio and the antenna is this tuner. How the tuner is set up can get a little finicky, especially when you have it set up with interference by a bunch of metal structures in a TV studio. So the antenna gets electrically mismatched between the antenna and the radio. So we can add the tuner, which is going to fake a good electrical match. Next up, in between the antenna and the tuner, we have this coax, which actually looks like coax you might find in a TV studio or connected to the TV in your house. But this coax is actually a little bit different. We'll use the 75 ohm coax for TV stuff, and this 50 ohm coax for our radio stuff. Lastly, we're going to give the radio some juice. Out in the field, we may just hook it up to a battery, a 12-volt lithium battery, or maybe your car battery. But today, since we're indoors, it's easy enough to hook it up to a power supply and give it that way. After the break, let's set it up and turn it on. KO4 NDP. Go ahead, Chad.
What's up? What you doing?
Not much. Tapping out some more, having a Diet Dr. Pepper. What's going on with you?
Nothing. Watching a waterfall. Drinking some Diet Doc.
QSL, QSL.
This is KO4PWB.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Where's Lauren?
Lauren, pick up the bike.
Yo, this is KQ4BKY. What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
KY4KP, KO4UQF. What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What you doing?
Not much. Tapping out some more, having a Diet Dr. Pepper.
QSL.
Welcome back. Let's power up the radio and get it on the air. This radio supports lots of frequency bands. The 20 meter band or 14 megahertz is a good band to use at this time of day. Let's make a contact with another ham, my good friend Chad, Kilo Yankee 4 Kilo Papa, who's VP of our radio club in Woodstock, Georgia. He's also a great friend of mine. First, let's find an open frequency and tune up. First, we got to power up. Turn on the power supply, our radio. We listen for just a moment, make sure that nobody's actually on this frequency. And when we don't hear anything, we can press the button on the tuner, release, and when the light's green, the trap's clean. Is this frequency in use? Kilo Yankee 4 Kilo Papa. This is Kilo Oscar 4 November Delta Papa. Hey, good morning, Chad. Got a strong 5.9 signal here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. How we sounding at your QTH, over?
5.9 plus 10 here into Cartersville, back to you.
We're filming a live radio presentation that'll be broadcast to a lot of folks interested in ham radio. Thought they might want to hear a little bit from an expert in the field. Got time for a few questions?
We always ready for questions, go ahead.
Good deal. So Chad, what led to your adventure into ham radio?
Personally, both my parents are licensed ham, so I grew up around it. Kind of got busy with life and put it off, and finally decided with the 20th anniversary of 9/11 that I'd get licensed and get active and involved on the radio. Back to you.
We've been licensed for about the same amount of time. There are so many different aspects of ham radio, hobbies within the hobby. What about radio do you think people might enjoy if they knew a little bit more about it?
4KP, interesting thing about amateur radio is you have many different avenues that pique many different people's interests. You've got amateur radio emergency services, which covers your emergency communications. You've got contesting, which is competitive radio sport. You've got the ability to do parks on the air and go out and enjoy state parks, national parks, and get on the air and make contacts. You've got the ability to sit at home and talk on a local repeater, talk to your friend across town. You can talk to the space station. You can talk through satellites. Just lots of different avenues that amateur radio encompasses. You can get involved in building your own equipment, building your own antennas. So amateur radio's got something that'll pique just about everyone's interest and get them excited about the hobby. Back to you.
There are certainly so many paths that a ham can take. And if one doesn't suit your interest, it's so easy to hop right into another that does. What's one of the coolest things you've done in ham radio?
One of the coolest things that I have done so far is just key up the radio and talk to somebody in a different country that I'll never visit in my lifetime and just have a few minutes short QSO with them. Probably the coolest thing. Back to you.
DX QSOs. They're definitely something unique to our hobby. You're vice president of our club, the Cherokee Amateur Radio Society. What kind of events and activities does our club do?
Events and activities is where you get all of your experience, on-air experience. Some of the things that we do parks on the air activations routinely at different parks in Georgia. We also have picnics where we cook some good food and get on the air. We have field day and winter field day. Do more activities that give us the opportunity to set multiple radios up.
How would a person not knowing anything about ham radio get started?
Absolutely encourage anybody that even has an inkling that they may be interested in radio to get involved with a club somewhere. You don't have to be a member of a club to go visit. You don't have to have a license to go visit. You just go sit down, ask questions, listen, pay attention, and you never know, you might have one of the many avenues of amateur radio that just jumps right back out at you. KY4KP, back to you.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much for your time, Chad. I believe this gives folks a lot of good info to get them started in their ham radio journey. Speaking to KY4KP, this is KO4NDP. Till next time, saying 73, Chad.
Awesome with you, and I'll catch you further down the line sometime. 73, and I'll be clear.
KO4 NDP frequency clear. And that's all there is to setting up a ham radio and getting it set up on the air. If you'd like to know more about ham radio, and you can talk to your ham radio club, local ham radio club, get on the air, get involved, get radioactive. Till next time, this is Jason, KO4 NDP 3 saying 73s.